Coming to you live from New York City, New York, Los Angeles, California, a cabin somewhere upstate, a basement in Mom's house in Florida, and of all places, can you believe it, Montana, and living rooms, bedrooms, studios, and bathrooms all across the country. It's the Ars Nova Forever Telethon, a 24-hour fundraiser for the future of Ars Nova, hosted by Ashley Perez Flanagan, Grace McLean, Rachel Chavkin, Dave Malloy, Matt Rogers, Shalewa Sharp, Isaac Oliver, The Neon Coven, Mahala Lawrence, Matt Gehring, Sakina Jeffrey, Larry Owens, Natalie Walker, Jason Tam, Freestyle Love Supreme, Lily Cooper, Joel Perez. With appearances by over 200 Ars Nova artists and friends, the Ars Nova Forever Telethon is sponsored by Nancy and Jeff Bergman, Nicole Broder and Alex Payne, Dana Kirchman and Mark Weedman, Elisa and Scott Lessing, Jenny and John Steingart, Diana DeMena, Victor Edozian, Rick Feldman and Susan Horowitz, Tim Forbes, Deeksha Gore and Joe Slaughter, Sylvia Golden, Jason Kemper and Thor Perples, David and Jennifer Miner, MWM Live, Hurrington Moody Wild, Doug and Debbie Rappaport, Jenna Siegel. It's like a pre-COVID fundraiser, only virtual and longer. It's an old school marathon meets live stream for the ages and for the arts. Get out that phone and get ready to text to give. Welcome to the Ars Nova Forever Telethon. Up next, The Comet Comes Home, a 2-hour spotlight on Natasha, Pierre, and the Great Comet of 1812, featuring members of the cast and creative team of the Ars Nova Board, Tony Award-winning musical phenomenon. Coming to you live, it's 2011 Ars Nova composer in residence, history buff, and Tony-nominated Great Comet composer, Dave Malloy, and director of 2 Ars Nova premieres, Great Comet and Smallmouth Sounds. It's Tony Award winner, Rachel Chavkin.
Yeah.
You can see we're on the little screen inside the little screen, which means we're live. Rachel and I are both freaked out about all this technology stuff. There's so many little boxes to keep, and there's a chat window, and there's a script. And anyways, I'm Dave Malloy.
I am Rachel Chavkin, director of the original production of Great Comet at Ars Nova.
And I'm the composer and original Pierre from that show. And we're thrilled to welcome you to The Comet Comes Home block of the Ars Nova Forever Telethon. I've been doing a fun thing in my head because Comet Comes Home, because those 3 words all have O-M-E, but they all sound different. But I've been making them all sound the same. So I've been calling it Comet Comes Home. So this is the Comet Comes Home.
People, many may not know this, that you are a wordsmith and a punctuation fascist, actually. If you want to talk maybe about the journey of the ampersand.
The journey of the ampersand. I get a lot of flack from people back in the early days of throughout the history of Great Comet for the lack of the Oxford comma. But I want to say that I'm a staunch supporter of the Oxford comma. However, if you use an ampersand, you do not use an Oxford comma. And every style guide agrees on this. So when people come at me about the Oxford comma, I'm like, no. Go back to school. Check out the ampersand. Just wanted to have that said.
Oh my. Here
Rachel,
we are.
How's your 2020 been?
It's been normal and relaxed. No, it's been okay. I mean, all things considered, I would say I am well, my family is well. How about you?
Yeah, it's been a doozy. It's been a real doozy. But yeah, lots of ups and downs, like really amazing moments, really, really dark moments, everything in between.
Well, that's what we're going to be doing here tonight is everything in between. So as part of this 24-hour telethon, fundamentally we're here because that's what Ars Nova does, is sort of hashtag everything in between. And we are here to raise money to keep Ars Nova going long into the future, whatever the hell the future might look like. And let us hope it doesn't look like 2020 anymore.
And you can donate lots of ways. There's like a little button on your screen you can click. You can also text Ars Nova. Text Ars Nova to 44321. That's how I've been saying. It's a little Les Mis.
Say it more clearly. Say it like a robot.
Text. Well, I'm saying it like a Javert. Text Ars Nova to 44321. Your time is up and your parole's begun. You know what that means? Yes, it means I'm free. No. Anyways, I'm also supposed to tell you that this first half hour, any gift that you give will be matched by two of our what's the word for the sponsors, the people that make it all happen. Sponsors.
Benevolent overlords.
Benevolent overlords, Donna Kirchman and Mark Weedman.
Thank you, Donna and Mark. We're so excited. So many of us haven't seen each other in so long, and there's going to be some amazing guests and amazing artists. But first, we're going to take a quick moment to look back on Ars Nova's incredible history of finding and supporting new talent.
Ars Nova is New York City's premier home to emerging artists. It's a dream factory to discover, develop, and launch the innovators who will shape tomorrow's culture.
Artists at the start of their career need a place to land and a community to encourage them. That's Ars Nova. Over the years, we've welcomed so many talented people through our doors, and we've seen that taking a chance on an artist looking for that big opportunity fuels bravery and creativity. Those artists then take risks that lead to impactful, groundbreaking work.
When we founded Ars Nova in memory of my brother Gabe, independent venues and small theaters all over New York City were fast becoming Duane Reads and Starbucks. The city was becoming a place that was inhospitable to the dreamers and the makers and the innovators that make New York great. Today, our artists are everywhere you look. They have won Tonys and Emmys and Grammys and Pulitzers and MacArthur Genius Grants, and that is amazing. But what is even more amazing is that our founding impulse hasn't changed one bit. Behind the scenes, Ars Nova is still busy welcoming the artists who have just taken the chance and the risk to pursue their dream, who are yet to be widely known, and who are working to find their way and build their lives.
Ars Nova is unique among New York theaters, serving as both an exploratory playground to test and develop new ideas through workshops, readings, writers' groups, and one-night-only performances, and as an off-Broadway producer, world-premiering bold, ambitious work from emerging artists, all while prioritizing fair pay for artists and keeping ticket prices low to bring in young audiences. Thanks for joining us for the Ars Nova Forever Telethon. To continue our work supporting early career artists, Ars Nova needs your help. Please text Ars Nova to 44321 to make your gift and help Ars Nova support artists this year and forever.
That was Philippa Sue. The reunion has begun, and now we're going to get more fully underway into this great Comet block with many members of our great Comet family here to sing Letters.
Russia, we write letters, we
cannons crack and cry? Do our bullets whistle and sing? Does the air reek with smoke? I wish I were there with death at my heels. Dolokhov is recovering. He will be alright, the good man. And Natasha is in town. Your bride to be so full of life and mischief. I should visit. I hear she is more beautiful than ever. How I envy you and your happiness. Here at home I drink and read and drink and read and drink. But I think I finally found it, what my heart is needed. For I've been studying the cabal and I have calculated the number of the beast. It is Napoleon, 603 score and 6, and I will kill him one day. He's no great man, none of us are great men. We're caught in the wave of history, nothing matters. Oh, everything matters, it's all the same. Oh, if only I could not see it, this dreadful, terrible it.
In 19th century Russia, we write letters, we write letters. We put down in writing what is happening in our minds.
Dear Andre, what more can I write after all that has happened? What am I to do if I love him and the other one too? Must I break it off? These terrible questions. I see nothing but the candle in the mirror. No visions of the future, so lost and alone. And what of Princess Mary?
Dear Natasha, I'm in deep despair at the misunderstanding there is between us. Whatever my father's feelings might be, I beg you to believe that I cannot help loving you. He is a tired old man and must be forgiven. Please come see us again.
Dear Princess Mary, oh, what am I to write? How do I choose? What do I do? I shall never be happy again.
These terrible questions.
I'm so alone here.
So alone in here.
And I see
Nothing but the candle in the mirror. No visions of the future, so lost and alone.
In 19th century Russia, we write letters, we write letters. We put down in writing what is happening in our minds.
Dear Natalie, a love letter, a love letter, a love letter.
A letter from him, from the man that I love.
A letter which I composed. Natalie, 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 I will love you or die. Natalie, 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 if you love me, say yes, and I will come and steal you away, steal you out of the dark. Natalie, 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 I want nothing more. Natalie, 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 I must love you or die. Natalie, 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 if you love me, say yes, and I will come and steal you away, steal you away. Oh, Natalie, 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 I want nothing more to say.
Just say yes. Just say yes.
Okay, so we are about to be joined. I'm like bursting at the seams by a bunch of original members of the Great Comet cast from Ars Nova. But first, to torture them and to bring joy to all of our hearts, we're going to watch some of their performances from the original run at Ars Nova.
There's a war going on out there somewhere, and Andre isn't here. There's a war going on out there somewhere, and Andre isn't here. There's a war going on out there somewhere, and Andre isn't here. There's a war going on out there somewhere, and Andre isn't here. And this is all your program. You are at the opera. You're gonna have to study up a little bit if you want to keep with the plot. 'Cause it's a complicated Russian novel. Everyone's got 9 different names. So look it up in your program. We'd appreciate it, thanks a lot. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Natasha! Natasha is young. She loves Andre with all her heart. She loves Andre with all her heart. Natasha's young and Andre isn't here. Sonia is good. Natasha's cousin and closest friend. Natasha's cousin and closest friend. Sonia's good. Natasha's young and Andre isn't here.
I was muted. We're live now?
I think we're live.
Yeah, this is so now we're in Zoom, just so you could know what's going on. Now we're in Zoom. No one cares.
No one cares.
We're gonna introduce, but can they see the original cast already, or am I about to bring them in? I don't
They
even
can
know.
see them.
They can already see them.
Introduce
Hi,
them.
everyone. So it's Blake DeLong, Gelsey Bell, Monica Chokesy, Britton Ashford, Pippa Sue, and Amber Gray are all with us, all of who are in the original 2012 Great Comet.
Woo-woo!
Hey, everybody.
Hey! This is why I agreed to do this. I knew the torture would be worth it. Okay, I have many questions for you all, but like, I just want to start with like a popcorn and just like words, images, initial memories, and then I'll ask for some more treasured moments later, but go.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that tiny, tiny room. That tiny, so intimate, beautiful little room. I'll never forget that space. You guys, that was my first job in New York.
That's what Ars Nova does.
Yes. Be my first job.
You really nailed it. You did a really good job.
That second job was pretty good too.
Yeah. Pippa, you
I
passed
remember-
it to, oh yeah, go Monica.
I was going to say the audition, singing with you, Dave, and being like, oh, the writer's going to sing with me. That's strange. All right, this could be fun. And then going with Pippa to get some like tea and biscuits after that first audition. We're like, that musical is cool. It's a little weird. I wonder what that'll be like. Another day in auditioning.
We ran into each other at the audition. We're like, hey, let's take tea.
Yeah, and Blake was there and Amber. And I thought, oh, I guess everybody who auditioned for this play got in.
Yeah, this is like a straight
desperate.
So. Yeah. And some people who didn't audition.
Good.
Monica, I remember, Monica, that you auditioned for both Dolokhov and for Volkansky, right? Like, because I have a very clear memory of you singing the beginning of The Private Intimate Life of the House, and you just had this very weird take on Old Man Volkansky. It was like very just like, I look around, I'm doing this. Like, it was very like measured. It still creeps me out. I have nightmares about it.
I thought of like just a super old like skeleton of a man. I think I was making like a weird skeleton face, like a. What it is.
Blake,
Like,
did
oh.
you and Monik ever trade old Volkonskis?
I don't think this is the first time I'm learning that I auditioned for Volkansky. I didn't know.
I was also auditioning for Balaga.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you know who else auditioned for Balaga? Was a very young ponytailed Or Matthias.
No kidding.
Oh, I did not know
Yes.
that.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
That's amazing.
I hope that's all right to say.
That is great.
Amber,
Yeah.
what's like your favorite or strangest, and you could have two, memory of the Ars Nova run? Because there were so many steps in the journey.
Oh. Gosh, I just don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think, well, I do have a memory because, back in the day, they had those little teeny shot glasses that lived on the tables, but then our prop shot glasses were also on the table, which were significantly larger and filled with water. And lots of times audience members would drink our water and then feel bad and then fill it with vodka. So I actually I have like very boozy memories of doing some of those shows, which was great. And yeah, I got very good at like pretending water. I got really good at how to pretend that water was like burning my throat, because some nights it really did.
Something maybe not everyone knows at home is that in the Ars Nova run, the vodka was free. We literally had bottles of Tito's vodka on every table. And so it was just a very boozy run. And I have such strong memories of like, as soon as the show was done, I would just be like going from table to table, finding leftover vodka, especially like during like tech previews and just,
Sure. Thank you, Tito's also, which sponsored basically that whole run. And Costco, I believe, which did not sponsor it, but was the source of the dumplings.
Oh.
Dumplings.
Right.
Right. Not to
How
be,
about you,
not to
Blake?
be
Yeah.
sentimental, but in terms of memories, the thing that sticks out to me the most is the day that we ran through the show, the whole thing for the first time upstairs. And when we got to the end and we sang The Great Comet, and it was intense. I mean, everyone was crying and we were like, holy shit, this thing is heavy, man. This is super good, right? We were all kind of like, I remember like leaving that day being like, it's really fucking good, right? Or are we just crazy?
Yes.
Yeah.
That pencil space, that loft up there was so great. It was so beautiful. It was so nice to go there every day and rehearse in a room with windows and
with all that tape on the floor. Like, where am I? I'm on a platform, but I'm also in his lap, and I don't understand.
Together
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Did we like have very little time on the stage before we had an audience in there? I know that's the way it was with all the other times we did it, but it's vaguely coming back to me how disoriented like the first run through in the space was up above.
That's
everyone
right.
running around.
Yeah, and
Trying
Mimi
not to
and
not
I
hit your
hadn't.
head.
Yeah, we hadn't worked too hard to try to make people understand how the space would actually function, because it seemed clear that you would choose to stay on the runway versus step off the runway.
Yeah, totally.
Well, you had to run under the whole, building to make different entrances. And we had no idea what that meant upstairs.
Britton, do you have like do you remember in particular like audience interactions or any things that came up for the run for you?
In the Ars run, not so much the audience interaction, though I was thinking, we were talking about like Amber was saying like the vodka on the tables, like God help anyone who had like family or very dear friends who came and perhaps overindulged. And then after the show, was always like a moment where you're like, okay. But actually I had nothing but positive interactions in the Ars Nova run, even though it was very unfamiliar. Like me to be like, okay, I'm in this costume and I'm doing this thing, and like, okay, like, and now I'm gonna like look at you. But I feel also my character maybe had like the least of that. but maybe I'm wrong in thinking about it. Like, but I love like afterwards, yeah, to interact with someone that was just like right there, that's like full of vodka, which felt unique to the Ars run because it was free.
Yeah, well, that's a good setup. So, okay, so for those who don't know, the Ars run was in the fall of 2012. And then the first tent, thank you. What does that say,
This is
David?
the shot glass that Ars Nova gave us as a gift on opening night. It's hard to see because it's transparent. It's red. I don't know how to make you see it.
Will you just tell us what date it says on it?
It says October 16th, 2012.
Yeah. An Oxford comma?
Yeah. So then, okay, so wait. So then we go to the tent. What are y'all's like memories or senses? Maybe Gelsey, we'll start with you, of like how the experience in performing the show evolved over the course from Ars to the tent, the infamous casino. And you can feel free to go beyond.
Yeah, indeed. The space just kept getting bigger. And then there just kept being more people. There's so many ways that affects things. I mean, in terms of the audience interaction, it always, like for me, it always had to stay. Even when we went to Broadway, it's just like, this is the one audience member I'm interacting with. That has to be exactly the way it was in Ars Nova. But part of it is that the sound of the audience, when they clap, when they laugh, when they cry, like when as the audiences got bigger and bigger, that sound changed, and that meant like my emotional reaction to the audience itself changed. That's the thing that I think about as it progressed.
You know, Gelsey, you just reminded me when you said how we kept adding more people. I just got reminded of like how the band at Ars Nova was actually a lot
Oh yeah, the cast just kept getting bigger too. Totally.
And the ensemble, but also the band. You had a significantly large keyboard part at Ars Nova.
Yeah.
And I'm remembering also that then when I left the pit, like we didn't have Ora Matias or I was the music director, and so Paul Pinto Balaga came in and played piano for the last 20 minutes of the show. And now I'm remembering too that Amber, you played drums, right?
I played drums too.
And you played drums too.
I also
Monica played drums.
I also played the accordion.
And Glockenspiel. I was like, so like, what else can I play? And they're like, no, you are Asha. There's
Okay, but you were in the club. That was a big deal.
Oh, that was a big deal.
Remember when I ruined the performance that one night?
I do.
Well, and
we had to stop because I hit the space bar.
Oh yes.
Wait, Blake, for those
previews with press in the house. I thought I was getting fired. I was 100% sure I was getting fired that night. And
for those who don't know what the space bar is, will you tell the story DJ Andre 3000 in a little bit more depth?
Well, I had to be the DJ. I think I was always the DJ, even through the casino stuff. But at Ars Nova, I actually had to, on Dave's personal laptop, I had to press the space bar to advance the cues through the whole club section. And I had to do them at the right moment. And I got very excited one night in previews, really into my interpretation of my DJ character. And I actually hit the space bar too early. And we went from something very cool and happy to boom, boom. Yeah. And we couldn't get out.
Well, I remember very specifically what the cue was, because like the cue that was supposed to go into Dolokhov singing "Here's to the Health of Married Women," but instead it went to the cue after that, which is after "So Let's Begin, This is Child's Play." It's just like this drone of just and Monica is trying his best, being a good actor, and he's going with it. Here's to the health of with just this drone.
And then we did a really so like, here's to the health
of
women. And then Amber looks at me and she's like, all right, here's to the health. And we did like 2 or 3 more times before
and
we were like,
still in the pit with my gold jacket and my sunglasses, and I was like, it was such a disaster. And I went downstairs because I was done and I waited for intermission.
Well, I came down because I got shot still, and then I came down and found you just inconsolable. I think your head was back in the book.
Dave stopped the whole play and was like, "We have to back up and restart." So we restarted. The audience was so lovely about it. Everything was great.
Always the right choice.
And then I went downstairs and I was 100% sure I was getting fired. And then Rachel and Dave came down at intermission and they were so nice. They were so chill. They were like, "It's fine. We did it. It's good. No problem." I couldn't believe it.
Well, but then wasn't it the next night that we had to stop again, and then Pippa's dad came to the rescue?
Oh my god!
Oh,
yeah.
because of the
Is there a doctor in the house?
And she was like, "My dad's a doctor."
Unfortunate.
I totally forgot about that one.
Wait, Pippa, you go.
Well, I was just gonna say there was a really unfortunate situation where, the banquettes and all of the like larger tables still existed, and so like sometimes you'd get like one party at one end of the table and then like another party at the other end. And my family came that night, and my dad was sitting at the large banquet, and I remember it was like, what if it was Natasha Lost? Was that? It was like
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was during Anatole and Natasha, because then
Yeah.
Lucas brought us back in a half hour later.
Yes, and there was a poor woman who fainted in her seat, and we had to stop, and the stage manager was like, "Is there a doctor in the house?" And my dad literally like caught this woman who fainted and was like, "I'm a doctor." And
Actually, it was Pippa who said, "My father's a doctor."
Yeah.
There was an audience member who was like, "Is there a after he was already tending to her?"
Yeah,
Amazing.
exactly. And
Pippa's always got things under control.
Okay, wait, speaking of Pippa having things under control, I want to go to one of my favorite memories from like the entire Comet process, which was actually during Casino rehearsal, which I'm sure all of us remember was about 10 to 12 weeks long, because we didn't know where we were going when we started rehearsal. So we rehearsed endlessly. We just kept doing it, and like we would do runs with all the understudies in different permutations. But it was during that time that a new song, No One Else, came into the room. And I wondered if Pippa, you would say a little bit about that day, if you remember it, and like first time hearing that song.
I'm pretty sure that I started crying when I heard that song. I mean, didn't I send you an email, Dave?
Yeah, so I mean that song was so much based on emails between you and me, because again, for people who know, at Ars Nova, where No One Else currently is in the show, there was a different song called If He Were Here Now, which was like a very like sweet, dear little chestnut of a song, and it was fine and lovely, but it just wasn't quite like the aria that Natasha really needed, and I just like didn't know it at the time. And then when we finished the Ars Nova run, you read War and Peace during the run, is that right?
So I read it. I started reading it between the runs, because I was like, okay, well, we're only gonna do this now, so I better read the book. So so I was reading it, and I remember I think I remember writing like, I just remember the scene where Natasha's like staring out at her window, and I'm imagining in my mind like Andre is like in another window, in like if this is like the movie version, like we've got a shot of like Natasha like looking out the window, the moon is shining on her face, and there's Andre like in the window like right above her, like doing the same thing, you know. Yeah, exactly. And I was like,
Isn't he playing guitar, or are you like Natasha hears guitars?
yeah, out the window. And I was like, Dave, I really like this part of the book. You know, I just think it's so magical. I love the moon. Yeah. I don't really know where that email is. I tried finding it once.
Oh, I probably have it somewhere. Because I remember it was both about that scene with the moon, but you also were just talking about how, like, what a philosopher Natasha is, and just like pointing at some other sections of the book where she's talking to, you know, other family members about just like her feelings about love and God and life and just all those things that I remember. Like, you like gave me some page numbers, and I like went through all that stuff, and so all those lyrics came from places that you pointed me to. And I actually have
Dave, we're about to have to bid farewell to these people. And so I want to know if there's like any last things that you were hoping to say, any of you.
Just
I love you guys.
yeah, love you all.
Love you.
When I think about that time, like just a unique collection of people who all were just making something that they cared about, not knowing if it would be received in the same way, but just trusting that like I connected this as a human and other humans are going to be in the room. And I feel like to see everybody like blossom since then in new ways, in part because of these collisions of people, like I just think about that Ars Nova, like hothouse of artistic creativity and trust and humanity, and where the like trees that have grown out of there. So much more than just this great play that continued and continues to have a life. Even more than that are all the plays everybody else is making now, that where that comet mentality is like deep in the DNA. So I have to thank also Dave, you, and Rachel, you, for like seeing something in all of us to like be a part of this soil to rake, as Aeneas Mitchell says. You know.
Beautiful.
It's a treasured experience for sure.
Never forget it. Never.
Forever, yeah.
Oh, I love you all.
Love you.
Thanks for joining us for this leg of the journey. I wish we could hang out all night.
Yeah.
Well, I can't. I'm going to be watching this thing after Kaya goes down.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get my Tito's.
Okay, we'll start texting.
Yeah.
Good.
Are you all in New York? Britain, you're not in New York. I know you're in, but where is everyone else?
Bed-Stuy. I'm a block away from you, Dave.
Well, that ain't even.
I'm in the house.
The Zoom is coming from.
I'm coming down your chimney later.
Blake, where are you? Your mise-en-scene is incredible.
It's my house.
You're just in New York.
This is my house in Park Slope.
Looks great. We got
Thanks,
the tree,
man.
the couch,
Thanks, buddy.
sidearm.
All right, so David.
I'm sorry. Should I be looking at this? I don't know where.
You should be looking at the script because that's part of our jobs.
This is a quick. Oh, is that where? But I'm waiting. I was waiting for everyone to go away. Is everyone gonna? Are they gonna
So
make? Us
do
all
we go away now? We go.
You go away, and we love you.
We love you so much. Oh my God, they're leaving one by one. It's like you're just watching them all fall and disappear. Pippa's the only one left. Now Pippa's gone too. So now it's just us. It's just you and me again. So now I say like the official stuff now, right?
I think that's true.
Yeah. So this is your quick reminder that if you want to donate, you can text Ars Nova to 44321. That's another Les Mis moment. You can also email to telethon@arsnova.com, arsnovanyc.com. There's also a little thing on the screen you can click on. And for this half hour, all the donations are being matched by Diana DeMena.
The fabulous Diana DeMena, who of course was one of our co-producers on the Broadway run. Thank you, Diana. Okay, so now actually it's time to check on how the money is doing and how the fundraising is going so far. So our numbers lady, Judy, has been doing an incredible job with this, and she is going to be with us, I can't believe this actually, for apparently all 24 hours, taking calls and tallying donations. So let's check in now, live from Telethon headquarters. It is Ars Nova's numbers lady, Judy.
Hi, thanks, Rachel and Dave. I'm Judy, the numbers lady, coming to you live from Ars Nova Telethon headquarters here in Brooklyn, also known as my apartment. The donations are really starting to pour in, and I know numbers can be overwhelming, okay? But if you look here at the Ars Nova Telethon abacus, right, we got 61, and then 4, and that is 3,000. Incredible, right? The great abacus of 1812. Okay, I'm going to keep working on this. Why don't we check in on the Telethon Total Donometer to see how we're doing? All right. Okay. And then we've got, gotta move that over, and 2, square root of that, integral derivative, carry the 1, okay, and so you see, we have raised $145,923, Oh, my calculations say that we should try to get to about 196,000 by the end of this block. Now I'm gonna get back to tallying here, but to help us give me some more numbers to add up, we have Ars Nova alumni, our advisory board member, and volunteer guest phone operator, Billy Eichner, over at the Ars Nova phone a donor desk. Billy, who you got on the line for me tonight?
Hey everyone, thank you, Judy. Thank you, Judy. You're working so hard tonight and for nothing, I'd imagine. So thank you for doing this. Hi everyone, I'm Billy Eichner, and I'm so happy to be here to support Ars Nova, and I'm gonna be calling my old pal that I used to perform at Ars Nova with, Robin Lord Taylor. I'm gonna dial him up right now. Are you there, Robin? I'm typing.
Hi, Billy.
Oh, there you are.
I was literally just texting. You. What's going on?
We were texting before this, and now here we are.
Amazing.
Amazing.
What's
How
up?
are you?
I'm great. I'm alive.
You're alive. Isn't that great?
Wow. The bar
Exactly.
is really shifting.
It's a low bar, but it's one that we're very grateful for. Well, I'm so glad you're alive so that I can ask you for money.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I'm here raising money for our old friends at Ars Nova. As you may recall, I don't know if the fog of fame has clouded your past, but before you were rich and famous, we used to perform at Ars Nova a lot. And it really was so essential in helping us both develop our careers as performers and entertainers, and connecting to agents and managers and people who could take our career to the next level. So it's obviously been a really tough year. We're here to raise money for them. I'm hoping you'll give a donation and maybe say a few very quick words. We don't have a lot of time.
Okay.
Well, what Ars Nova means to you.
Yeah, I that's amazing. Thank you for calling me. It's Ars Nova changed my life. I mean, it made me a better actor. It made me so much more intelligent about how the business actually works, with no one ever explains to you when you're getting started. We got our start there. It blew the world right open. And the most important thing, everyone knows, is that they took a chance on us. They gave us an opportunity. And I would love to pay that forward. Let's do it.
That would be great. They did take a chance on us, and the way to repay them, I like that we're asking other people to pay them for taking a chance on me. But hey, that's show business. So the way to donate to Ars Nova, and I hope you do, every little bit helps, is to text the words Ars Nova, ARSNOVA, to 44321. Text
Ars Nova 44321.
That's it. There you
right.
go.
Got it. Yeah.
You're a regular Alan Turing. I mean, it ain't hard, people. Thank you, Robin. Thank you for donating. And I hope everyone donates to Ars Nova, because they're essential. There aren't many places left like it in New York City that will support outside the box artists like us. And we really need to keep them going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, definitely. We got to keep them going, especially now.
Yes.
Thanks, Billy. I'm going to text you that Valerie Cherish gif. I was literally about to say.
It's all about Valerie Cherish. All right. Thank you, Robin. Thanks for giving. Bye, everyone. Back to the telethon.
You are watching the Ars Nova Forever Telethon, a fundraiser for the future of Ars Nova.
Hi again. So for our next segment of the evening, we're going to hear from some of the designers who brought Great Comet to life. Sorry, I've been disassembling a matryoshka this whole time. So it's just like the smallest one is the smallest little thing. So first we're going to hear from Mimi Lian. She's going to tell us a bit about the scenic design of the show and its evolution.
Hi, I'm Mimi Lian. I
guess really at one of our first design meetings with Dave and Rachel, Dave started talking about this experience that he had when he was doing research for the piece, and was in Moscow, St. Petersburg, somewhere in Russia, and was taken to this bar, club, place where people were eating and drinking and listening to music. And, you know, he just described that space that he entered. It was like suddenly it was just a place of warmth and music, and sat down next to a bunch of strangers and started rubbing elbows with them. And you know, there was a violin player over here and a saxophone player over there, and it was just this kind of place that was alive with music and food and drink, and felt just like a warm, welcoming place. And that's basically what we wanted the environment for the Great Comet to be. But what that meant from a practical and physical standpoint for me, I guess the thing that started to crystallize, thinking about some kind of supper club environment, but actually it was at an early workshop at Ars Nova that I started thinking about the actual physical devices that would be employed. And for the workshop, there were no built elements. Tables and chairs were sort of moved aside. Audience was seated at the cabaret tables and chairs and whatnot, and the performers were walking along the floor between audience members. And I was kind of sitting in a back corner, and I found it a little difficult to see the performers over the heads of the other people. So I was like, what would be great is if there was a raised platform that the performers could walk on, and that platform could weave its way in between us and whatnot. But it would be kind of great to have this winding pathway that could deliver the performers to me in a more immediate way. So that became a strategy for the physical manifestation of the design. Also, I was looking at a picture of supper clubs. I was doing research on supper clubs, and I was looking at a picture of a banquette. And so it was this curved, seating arrangement, and there was a surface, kind of the place where if you go and have dinner and sit in one of those booths, there's a place where you can kind of put your jackets and umbrellas up at about shoulder height behind you. And in this photo, I saw that surface, and I was like, that would kind of be a great place for a performer to be. It would definitely tie in, the whole room. Like, I love the idea of having a performer who is actually behind you, and you have to turn around in order to see them. And you're then like in that room much more so than you would be if everything that is happening is in front of you. And you can just sort of sit back and passively take it in. So if there's something behind you, you have to kind of turn around, and it's how you are when you're in a real space and not in a theater. So that was something that really started to inform the design. Not only was the playing space elevated so that people could see, but that playing space would actually go all around the audience so that everyone feels like they're in a three-dimensional space. Right, so we're talking about War and Peace, and we're talking about Russia, but we're not talking about, a real representation of Russia. There's all sorts of connotations, anachronistic references about Russia. So for me, there's sort of two diametrically opposed images that come to mind. One is the, kind of decadence of imperialist Russia, and the other is, this idea of a Cold War Russia that I grew up with as a kid. Bunkers and nuclear fallout and whatnot. And really, in order to be truly inside the space that Dave was talking about, the space of warmth and conviviality, you sort of need to have the contrast of coming in from the outside. So that's really where the idea for the bunker came from, that we wanted the passage, a marked contrast between the outside and the inside. Well, I will never forget, putting up the first iteration of Comet at Ars Nova was a feat. It was a low budget production, and it was a very, any kind of all-encompassing design is kind of ambitious on a typical budget, because the budget is created for the typical stage area. So then when you include the audience and you include the lobby, that basically quadruples the, square footage. So it was definitely ambitious, and I will never forget, the resourcefulness of Jess Levine finding these curtains that we got for free. They were being thrown out from another production. I think we got them through Materials for the Arts. And yeah, just like, the way that everyone just jumped in and rolled up their sleeves and made it happen.
Okay, thank you, Mimi. So in a moment, Dave and I are going to get to talk with two other comet designers, Paloma Young, costumes, and Bradley King, lighting. But first, we're going to watch another clip from the Ars Nova production to get to check out their work a little bit for that space.
And I never ask for rules, except maybe once a year. I don't do this for rubles. I do it because I like them. And we like the lager too. What horses have you come with there? Your special beasts. Well, listen, I'll drive all three to death and get me there in 3 hours. I'm with it, but then shall I drive? Mind, I'll smash your face in. Don't make Jervis. As fast as ever the horse can gallop. So fast we'll go. I'll sit down. I'll stand there with Torb Vasilevich. Nonsense, sit down. Have a drink.
Okay. Here we are. Please welcome Bradley King and Paloma Young.
Hi.
Dave,
Hi.
you're welcome back too.
I'm here too. So I was watching the thing and they were doing Balaga, and then there's a whole part that I'd forgotten even existed, the part that was cut, where it's like, what horses have you come with, my special beasts? Well,
Dave, we want to focus on our new guests here who have dressed up so beautifully.
To be fair, I had zero memory of that either, so I learned something tonight too.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you two, there's a lot to talk about because the design of this show evolved like a mother over the course of the 4+ productions. So I'm curious, like for each of you, maybe Paloma, we could start with you. Like what, thinking back to Ars Nova and then thinking about the whole trajectory of the show, like what in your mind is like the biggest evolution or thing that changed? And then maybe what's your favorite if it's a different thing?
I mean, I think that the biggest evolution was with the ensemble because we didn't have an ensemble, but we did sort of have an ensemble in that we had the musicians visible in the space in Ars Nova. And that was actually where was our jumping off point for the ensemble because we had costumed those musicians. And it was kind of like this folk punk design. And then once we had other people in the space and we're like, well, what are they going to look like? Well, they shouldn't really look like our principals who have more of a period feel. We just know that they're different. They're kind of like a Greek chorus sometimes. And so, I was like, well, I mean, actually, I think it was you, Rachel, that was like, well, what about if they were like the musicians? And then that just sort of like grew over time. And then it was like, well, if we take this kind of hyper like downtown punk aesthetic and like, how does that exist in the space of the ball? Like, how does that exist in the space of the club? So it wasn't like they just had one outfit, then it was like that outfit evolved and they really became like characters, like personalities, like this person dresses up different when they go to different things. So like that was the most like fun to sort of grow the world and like have just so much more like texture that I felt I could pull out a lot more of like Dave's music.
Yes, totally. Because I can remember when we first began, it was like, well, I feel like the costumes have to be period in some way. Because like you can't meet Natasha with a 21st century sense of like just femininity and power, for example, because she's so living by 1812 rules. And yet like this contemporary streak that's obviously all through the score. And I feel like I can remember Tech at Broadway. I felt like you were getting a different package every day with like a different t-shirt for the ensemble that I really wanted to steal.
Yeah. And I mean, so that was like a big, I would say like a favorite part, but then, I mean, my favorite piece in the show is Natasha's coat, which is basically unchanged conceptually from, it was a 60s wedding coat that I bought on eBay for probably like $25 because, we had a off-Broadway budget.
Sure.
And then added some white fur.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh yeah, this is Natasha. This isn't her nightgown.
Right. This is not the coat of which you speak.
Yeah. But these were the original renderings. It was like, well, we know we're going to be borrowing a lot of stuff and changing a lot of stuff. So I just wanted to sort of sketch out colors, knowing that they would all be on this beautiful red background from Mimi's red curtains.
And there's Amelia Workman as the original Maria D.
Yeah.
And there's Gelsey Bell looking exactly. I mean, it's amazing how some things never changed, including
I think
Princess Mary.
Sort of like, our instincts were really good with these characters.
Bradley, how about for you? Was there like, and I keep continuing to look at these sketches for a moment, but like, was there a particular source of inspiration as you were starting on this?
I mean, mostly what I remember from Ars Nova is just like a series of escalating days of blind panic as we started, because we had all these like pretty lofty conversations with Mimi like in August about like the environment is the thing, and like, well, we're not going to use theatrical lights. Like theatrical lights don't make sense in this room. So like we're going to do it all with the chandeliers, and we're going to do it with the picture lights. And then like we got to the first day of tech and none of the chandeliers had been built yet. And like the entire like room was going to be lit by these chandeliers that didn't exist. And then we were sitting at the Sitz probe and
keep going. Just
and we were sitting at the Sitz probe and you and I were just kind of like talking through the show as they were vondling around like, oh, we'll need a special here and a special here. And we're like, we'll want to pull down here. And I'm like, I haven't found for any of this yet. And so it was just sort of like racing to stay one day ahead of us where we were on the stage. But like, that's where the light bulbs came from. Because it was like, well, where can I, like, how do I immediately like break this space down into 50 different areas for $4? Like, I'm going to go buy 500 light bulbs from Home Depot and I'm just going to sit here and wire them and I'm just going to keep hanging and hanging and hanging and hanging. And like, that's the whole show. Like, and like that was the show from Ars Nova all the way through Broadway. So it was really sort of exciting. Like we never threw anything out as we got bigger and bigger. We just layered on top. So like the light bulb came from Ars Nova, and then the whole idea of color came in the tent. Like there was no color at all in Ars Nova. I think there was red.
In the lights.
In the lights, yeah. It was 100% white, warm light, and some red. And then it wasn't until the tent that we had lights that could change color. And suddenly that's when like the moonlight came in for no one else. And like that was like a huge thing, even on Broadway, like when you've been sitting in a room for 35 minutes until we get to no one else, that you've just been sitting in that warm candlelight and suddenly everything turns blue and it's like a punch to the face, which is one of my favorite moments in the whole show. So like,
mine too, so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, like, so the entirety of that design thread, the DNA of the Comet design, was birthed out of the light bulb, which was birthed out of necessity because we didn't know what we were doing at the time. So
right. I mean, you're sort of naming this, but since this is the Ars Nova telethon, for each of you, can I like, what did you love about working at Ars?
I mean, the room. was so small and lovely. I mean, like it was truly like there was a moment that never worked as well anywhere as it did in Ars Nova, and it was Lucas Steele singing "Don't Lower Your Eyes" in the ball, and he was like right next to one of those light bulbs, and it was the only light on in the whole room, and it was just sort of like casting his shadow over everything, and casting that shadow onto Pippa, and it's like it was breathtakingly beautiful and doesn't work anywhere else where you're in a room bigger than 25 square feet. So like the sense of intimacy I was always chasing after that first production.
I just as like a designer, a costume designer is often like working very far away from where like a lot of stuff is happening. And I remember being in the basement where we were sort of using as a costume shop.
Yes.
With my amazing associate, Ashley Rose. And we were like cutting stuff and sewing stuff and painting stuff. I don't remember, you know, we were like very hands-on. But we could hear on the monitor, like we had been so busy with the show that I don't think that we didn't see like a sits probe or even like a full run, or I guess we hadn't heard stuff with the music. And I remember being there and it was Britton singing Sonia Alone. We were both sort of working on separate stuff. And we both kind of like looked up at each other and we were both just like crying. And I was like, let's go upstairs. And we went up, and because it was the first time that we had heard the song like as it was meant to be, but it was like we got to like be there for it. So just that kind of like super close community. And then like one other like anecdote, like I went to go see, I had, you know, the tickets got very hard to get because it was such a small space. And then Hurricane Sandy hit.
Yes.
And eventually like performances were back on. There were a few that were canceled. But I had a friend who had gotten tickets for both of us to go see it together. And we both lived in Brooklyn, and it was like the trains weren't running. Like it was this epic, and it was kind of like sloshy and gross out. And this journey where we had to like take a car service to a ferry, then we got on a ferry, then we got on a bus, and then we walked for like 20 blocks. And like Manhattan was super quiet, and just like everything was like cold and quiet. And then you like went in through like the Mimi's thing, and then like the audience, like the people that go see shows at Ars Nova, it's like we had all done this like journey together, and also they were very drunk, but like it was just like, oh, I was like that I've never felt captured anywhere else. Of like the audience is really in the show.
You know who else saw it that week because of Sandy, couldn't get tickets otherwise, was Anais Mitchell. That was how we met. Yeah. Bradley, do you have any like final
just
memory or moment?
Your money.
Why should they give all the money to Ars Nova?
Why should they give all the money to Ars Nova? Because like I mean, I think what Ars does, like no theater company other than Ars Nova would have even taken a chance on Comet, and I think that just tells you everything you need to know.
That is the best segue. Love you both.
Bye, Missy.
Bye, everyone.
Beautiful to see you. David?
Oh God, now I have to see, I need an iPad so I can have the script in another place, but I don't have that, do I? So I'm just going, oh, this is so easy. Thank you, Bradley and Paloma, for joining us. Now it's time for a bit more fundraising.
Oh my God, you're so good at this. Okay, so all right, we both want to take a moment to recognize the amazing sponsors who made this portion of tonight possible. The Ars Nova Forever Telethon is sponsored by Nancy and Jeff Bergman, Nicole Broder and Alex Payne, Elisa and Scott Lessing, Donna Kirschman and Mark Weidman, and Jenny and John Steingart.
And the Comet Comes Home block is sponsored by Diana Demena, Rick Feldman and Susan Horowitz, Jason Kemper, and Thor Perples.
As a reminder, you can donate by texting Ars Nova to Dave, please.
4, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you. To make a gift. There's a button. It's so easy. You can just give. If you're watching the telethon right now, it's there on the right. A friend told me they would give $25 if my husband walked by, not wearing many clothes, but not happening. And lastly, to make a gift, you can also email your pledge to telethon@arsnovanyc.com. Again, email the pledge to telethon@arsnovanyc.com. And all gifts during this next half hour are going to be matched by Rick Feldman and Susan Horowitz. Thank you, Rick and Susan.
And now here's a quick glimpse at what your contributions tonight will be supporting.
For generations, theater artists have been drawn to New York City, where the only thing between the seed of a great idea and its realization are the right collaborators, a stage, and a little money. Ars Nova has been there meeting those needs, holistically supporting many of New York's newest artists for the past 18 years. In the year 2020, supporting live performing artists has taken on a whole new meaning.
When the COVID-19 pandemic started, our immediate reaction was, how can we help our community get through this? We made a preemptive decision to cancel all activity from March through June 30th and continued to pay the 250 people who had been scheduled to work on and off stage during that time. Once we realized this moment was going to be longer than a couple months and that New York City and its freelance arts workers would be hit hard, we knew we needed to get into deeper and immediate conversations. We started asking our artists, what do you need? How do you want to connect with your creativity right now? How can we be helpful? Enormous challenges require extraordinary solutions. And to be resilient, we would need to think in abundance and take the same kind of big calculated risks we encourage our artists to take.
Ars Nova responded with a 2020-2021 slate of programs no less ambitious than in the years past, including fast-tracking a digital hub for artists to make new work, $2,500 flash grants to every resident artist to help meet their basic needs, producing offline theatrical experiences, including a world premiere delivered through the mail, and launching 2 new innovative artist development programs.
So comedy development doesn't really exist in New York, and with the pandemic, a lot of comedy communities had to shut down. So Mihaela and I had a pretty big ask of Ars Nova to create a brand new comedy development program, and Ars Nova said yes, and it's called Camp, and we're so excited to start something new.
Camp is a residency that we've built to offer the space and the platform for a diverse group of comedy creators to create new work. We're super, super excited about it. We also offer them peer support and artistic feedback in a really holistic way.
The Ars Nova Vision Residency is a group of 7 artists who are invited to create, collaborate, and curate 1 month each of programming on Ars Nova Supra. It's a way for Ars Nova to expand the conversation around artistic programming by inviting members of the community in. And it's a way for us, the Vision residents, to expand out the family of Ars Nova to folks who might be new to the community and give them an even larger platform to connect with.
Playgroup and Makers Lab has meant the world to me. A place where I can share with other artists from different backgrounds, people that I otherwise most likely would have never met. My soul has been healed and has been held in many ways that have been very necessary.
There's never been a more important time to support Ars Nova, and that's why we're pulling out all the stops to ensure that New York City remains a welcoming home to theater artists who dare to dream. It's why we're crazy enough to do a 24-hour telethon. Please text Ars Nova to 44321 to make your gift and make sure Ars Nova can keep supporting our community of artists this year and forever.
Hi, I'm Dana Kirschman. I'm the Vice Chair of Ars Nova's Board of Directors and a proud sponsor of the Ars Nova Forever Telethon. Thank you for coming out to celebrate tonight with Dave Malloy, Rachel Chavkin, and the entire cast and creative team of Natasha, Pierre, and the Great Comet of 1812. Years before it came to Broadway, the Great Comet was first presented at Ars Nova in the Jewel Box Theater on West 54th Street that we now call the Hub. Today, we continue to develop and support innovative new artists who could be the next Rachel or the next Dave. We do this on a new platform called Ars Nova Supra. On Supra, you'll receive weekly performances from New York live, streamed to the comfort of your own home. So please do sign up, join us on Supra, and enjoy the evening tonight. While I've got you online, I'd like to wish my husband, Mark, the best 50th birthday ever. Love you, honor you, support you, and let's have a great party. Good night.
Beautiful, Dana. And Mark, happy birthday. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so all right, next up, two of our Comet swings from the Broadway production have recorded from their living room just a brief lesson to teach you some of Sam Pinkelton's bonkers choreography from the show. And I just want to say, anyone who's worked on Broadway knows this, but a swing is potentially the most valuable member of any production team. And our Comet swings were fucking heroes. So clear some space wherever you're watching and get ready to dance with them.
Hey Balaga, ho Balaga, hey hey ho Balaga, hey hey Balaga, the famous troika driver, hey Balaga.
Hey everybody, I'm Mary Paige Nance. I was a swing on Natasha, Pierre, and the Great Comet of 1812 on Broadway. I was a swing with the fabulous Celia May Rubin. This is where you pan to Celia May Rubin. There she is. Okay, great. Now we're panning back. And we're here both virtually, separately, and yet together to teach you a masterclass in support of Ars Nova. We're so excited to be here and to teach you a very quick, condensed version of Balaga, choreographed by the fabulous Sam Pinkelton. Balaga/abduction. So get ready, get a bottle of water, a large bottle of water. Also make sure you've had a lot of protein before this moment and before you do this masterclass, or you might pass out. And get ready to dance because it's a doozy, but we're very excited. All right, let's do it.
Hello, my name is Celia May Rubin. I was one of the assistant dance captains on Natasha, Pierre, and the Great Comet of 1812 on Broadway. And I've also been seen on Broadway in the original cast of Matilda the musical, as well as the original cast of A Christmas Carol that was at the Lyceum on Broadway last year. I'm going to teach you the iconic Lanes choreography that starts here on the 8, yeah? I say iconic because I feel like when the choreography of the Great Comet has been featured in media and online, this is something that's really sort of the visual in terms of the style of the choreography. Of course, incredible choreography by Sam Pinkelton and his associates Chloe Treat and Flannery Gregg. They're such incredible people, and I'm so honored that I had the pleasure of working on this with them. So Lanes starts here on the 8. Remember, I've said turn over your right shoulder and face the wall. So I'm just going to go over the feet first. The feet, you're going to go step right, left, right, kick. Yeah? Again, that is right, left, right, kick out that left leg. You're gonna then turn, now this is really important because this gets very confusing. You're gonna turn over your left shoulder without putting that left foot down, bending that left foot, and then you're gonna kick again, okay? So we have right, left, right, kick, in, kick, put that left foot down, kick that right foot up as high as it will go. Kick. Yeah? One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, left, right. Kick in, kick, step up. I lied. Now is one more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, left, right. Kick in, kick, step up. Okay, now the arms. You're going to swim. Swim, opposite arm, opposite arm, opposite arm. When you kick, your torso is going to come over that kicking leg and you're going to punch both arms out. When it comes in, the arms come in with that foot, punches again. Bring the arms down and then up through your body to face the ceiling. Yeah? So I want to see a difference between a low torso, face the ceiling. Okay? Let's do that a couple of times. 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, left, right. Kick, kick, up. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, left, right. Kick, kick, up. The good news is you repeat that 3 more times. The bad news is it's really freaking tiring. So from the first time, let's just walk it through 4 times, okay? And remember the direction. You are always turning over your left shoulder. 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, left, right. Kick, kick, up. Second time. Kick, kick, up. Third time. Kick, kick, up. Fourth time. Kick, kick, up. I'm exhausted. We're going to keep going. So you've just done the 4th time. Right, left, right. Kick, kick, up. Okay? You're going to step on that right foot. You're going to kick that left foot. You're going to step on that left foot. Turn again, a quarter turn over your left shoulder, and kick that right foot out to the side. So the sequence is step, kick front, step, kick side. Keep going around that way. Keep turning a quarter every time you step. Quarter, quarter, quarter. Do you know what I mean when I say quarter? I mean it's like the hands of a clock. You turn a quarter every time, okay? So let's just mark all of that and then we'll add it with some music. So you have 4 times the start of lanes, going into 4 times, kick with a punch. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that every time you kick to the side, your hands come out to the side, okay? Here we go. Just mark it so you don't exhaust yourselves. 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, left, right. Kick, kick, up. Right, left, right. Kick, kick, up. 3rd time. Kick, kick, up. 4th time. Kick, kick. Here we go. Step, kick. 1st time. Step, kick. 2nd time. Kick. 3rd time. 4th time. Got it? Let's do it with some music. Okay, I turned the video off, took 5 seconds to breathe, and we're back. We are gonna finish off this combination. So you've just done 4 times round, right? If you've done the directions correctly, you should end up facing the back on your last side kick. If that's not what happens, don't panic. You're only dancing in your living room or wherever you happen to be. You're gonna turn around and all you're gonna do is step, kick, step, kick, step, kick, step, kick, step, kick, step, kick. Yeah? Every time you kick, you're gonna punch up times, then you just like collapse on the floor. And you're allowed to actually collapse on the floor because that's what we did in the show. So that's it. You've now learned the entire of this audition routine. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna play the music all the way through and we'll just have a good time. You know what? Before I do that, let's just talk it through, the whole thing. So from the top, you have a 5, 6, 7, 8, legs. 1, 2, 3, kick, kick, up. 1, 2, 3, kick, kick, up. 1, 2, 3, kick, kick, up, kick, here, kick, here, kick, here, kick, here, kick, kick, 8 times, collapse on the floor. I just realized that I don't know where you're supposed to end up facing on the last one of these. Because I told you to face the back, but when I just did it that way, I was facing the computer. So the lesson here is, do whatever you want. I just want you to have a great time. I'm gonna shut the video off, take a little breather, and come back and we'll do it together.
I guess I just want to say, remember where you are. So if you know the show, I'm sure you do because you're here, you know that this is sort of Natasha's fever dream of, you know, getting taken by Anatole into the night and getting rid of her, you know, Andre, and leaving everything behind, and her, the everything, the manners, the family, the woman telling her what to do. She's like, I don't care, I'm in love. And that's what happens. And so then she gets taken, you know, in this, but it's also, it's a fever dream, meaning it's kind of like she's high or, you know, like it's wild things are happening. So feel free to take wild choices and know that obviously we're in our living rooms, which actually is kind of great for Great Comet because in the show, we didn't have a lot of stage space. So as we were performing this, we were performing on tiny little runways, a few feet wide of stage with gold solid railings that we might hit. So we had to dance. Sam would always say, like, I need to be able to see you from space. So the person who was in the back corner of the balcony was still like, oh, damn, that girl is really dancing full out. So again, it's like you're trying to show each other off up from across the entire theater and space. So you want to dance as big as you possibly can so they can see you from space, even though you're in a tiny room, which I am and you are. So that's kind of great. So imagine like it's messy, you're drunk, you've just had a shot of vodka right before this all starts. It's that time in the party where things are getting a little blurry, you're showing off. That person that you really like is giving you the eyes. You might be flirting with them while you're dancing, trying to be cute, but you're not. Whatever your choice is for your character, this is the moment where you get to kind of add all that together. So let's start from the beginning.
Okay, I took a breath. I hope I'm ready to do this with you. To be perfectly honest, I had a bowl of chicken curry for breakfast this morning, and it is right here, right now. Not the best idea. It's also a pandemic. We've been in a lockdown. I'm significantly out of shape. So I will try to do it with you as much as possible. I might have to stop counting because I might not be able to count and do it at the same time. But I hope you have a great time. I've had a great time teaching this. When you hear the cast, original Broadway cast recording that I'm playing, when you hear them say, hey, on all the kicks, feel free to join in. Feel free to just say hey the whole time. This is about community. This is about love and joy. And one day when we're all together, we're going to have the best party on Broadway again, okay? Here we go.
Oh, it's happening. I was gonna do it. It was gonna be so fun, but then I did it too soon as a test, and then it was already on. This is a little friend of mine. So before we do our next interview, we've got a message from another dynamic duo, not these two, but a different duo, who created another Ars Nova show. Actually, one of my favorite shows I ever saw at Ars Nova, Underground Railroad Game. So this is Jennifer Kidwell and Scott R. Shepard.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Kidwell.
And I'm Scott Shepard.
And we're the co-creators and performers of Underground Railroad Game, which is a two-person dark comedy about racist pedagogy in America.
And you are watching the Ars Nova Forever Telethon.
We were just reminiscing about when we first got to meet Ars Nova in 2014, when they so graciously programmed us into one of their many initiatives, the All New Talent Festival. And it's 6 years later, and we're still with them.
That's right. They took this little show, the seeds of this show, and they gave us a space to dream really big. They're a risk-embracing organization, and they helped us launch the off-Broadway premiere of this show in 2016 in the midst of the 2016 election. They continued to give us a space to take this show to other people by launching a world tour. It's gone to 5 different countries. Over 20,000 people have experienced this show. They also helped us adapt it into this amazing book where we were able to add illustrations and all sorts of different forms of content to translate what we did on the stage to the page.
We understand that times are really difficult for lots of different reasons right now, and that things are in flux, changing so incredibly from moment to moment. But we ask you, we urge you, if you can, to please show your support by donating to Ars Nova today. We have been forever changed by their generosity and their vision. And right now, at a time when it's so crucial to hear from artists, to hear artists' voices, it is ever more crucial that artists can find a home like Ars Nova. So this donation of yours isn't just going to Ars Nova, it's going to change the world, if you can.
You are watching the Ars Nova Forever Telethon, a fundraiser for the future of Ars Nova.
So before we move into our final segment of the evening, well, of our block of the evening, we want to remind you this isn't just fun and games. This is a telethon. We're going to raise some money for this amazing theater that made all this stuff happen. So you can, of course, do it by texting Ars Nova to 44321. Or you can also just click on all the buttons and do all that stuff. All the gifts for this final half hour will be matched by the amazing Jason Kemper and Thor Perkins.
Thank you, Jason and Thor. And now Dave and I are so delighted to share with you a conversation that we recorded earlier this week with the incredible and incomparable Danae Benton. Danae is very happily working tonight and so couldn't be with us, but obviously she needed to be a part of tonight. So here she is. Oh!
So this is weird. We just spent a long time figuring out how we were going to introduce this because we're all freaked out because now it's Tuesday at December 1st at 2:49 p.m.
It looks like we're alive, but we're not alive. That's the Doctor Who reference? Is that true?
Yeah, this is the TARDIS. It's a little time machine.
I haven't watched it. Thank you.
Oh, it's good. I mean, it's a lot. It's a big investment.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
yeah.
bad.
But we're now in the past. It's Tuesday, December 1st, and we're going to be seeing our beautiful, fancy friend who is filming something, which maybe she'll talk a little bit about with us, and who's going to join us here.
And her name is Danae.
Her name is Danae Benton.
Danae Benton. Hi, there she is. She's here.
Oh my God.
You're
here.
Okay, I watched the whole thing and I've been reacting as if I was in the room the whole time, but I guess you couldn't see me.
You have to watch the little box within the little box to see what's happening.
Very Doctor Who.
Danae, how are you? I haven't seen. I know you and Rachel have seen each other a little bit this year, but I haven't seen you in forever. Where have you been? What have you been doing for your 2020?
I missed you. I'm good. I'm in New York. That's where I've spent most of my time. We kind of like pilgrimed home during the summer when I don't know, it seemed like the world was really stopping for a long time. And then we've been here and I started going back to work at the end of September. And that has been positive and a little Twilight Zone-y, and I don't know, it's a weird year.
Are you allowed to talk about what you're working on?
Oh, I am. It's called The Gilded Age. It's for HBO. It's from the creatives who did Downton Abbey. So I'm back in the 1800s, and of course, you guys set me off on a niche that I've been following ever since.
You look great in a corset. You look great out of a corset, but well, I suppose that's not too inappropriate to say. Yeah. Danae, when did we meet? In 2015. We met in 2015, I think.
Is that when I auditioned?
That's the lead up to the ART. Because so you joined us after the infamous run at the Tent.
Yeah.
Which of course was after the original run at Ars Nova, and as we were beginning to get the show ready for Broadway before the run at ART. And I wondered if you would what do you remember first and foremost from like that audition process?
Well, the first time I ever auditioned for you guys was for Preludes, and I remember I like really loved both of you quickly. But on my final callback, I had like some kind of cold and I couldn't hear anything. And I remember having to sing for you guys and I literally couldn't hear. And then I was like, well, I'll never hear from them again in my life. And then I got an audition for Great Comet and I was like, oh, maybe they love me as much as I love them.
I think I probably even wrote Natasha in.
Oh, I wonder. Because I think I was a little young for the part in Preludes. And then I remember my audition for you guys for Great Comet. That was the first time I ever walked out of a room and I was like, Kismet has happened. Like, I'm supposed to be in this thing and in this space with these people. It felt very like tingly. Yeah.
And do you remember, like, as you think about it, how did the show change in your hands? Because I think about it evolving, both like the show and also very much the role of Natasha, which obviously first initially was molded by Philippa Sue, but then like you getting to embody it in this whole other way. And I wondered like how you think about that show's evolution within you, through you.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think when we were at ART, I felt very strongly within myself that I wasn't being considered to be a part of the Broadway production. I think I just assumed that things would go back to how they were. So I think for ART, I was very present with that experience in a way that I think was special. And because I was scared because there was this kind of tight-knit group of people, but I felt so embraced by all the unicorns. And I think because everyone was getting used to this new proscenium space, there was a newness for everyone that I felt like I could be a part of, the like recreation of Natasha in that space versus the tent vibe. And so I felt a lot of freedom because I think that you guys were all feeling a newness as well. So I didn't feel like I was joining something that had been cemented in stone already, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was like such a huger, the ensemble like added such a different energy.
Yeah, and the proscenium and everything felt like everyone was like, what are we gonna do? And I felt that with Natasha too, which was nice.
Totally.
Yeah. I remember feeling like I would never learn the music. Just in my like apartment trying to practice.
Danae, one of my like fondest memories of you and I working on that show is the day that we made the tragic decision to cut the song Natasha Lost. And I remember like looking, because I love that song so much. I loved the way that you sang that song so much. And it was just like Act 1 was just like, we added Dust and Ashes. Like, oh my God, when's this act going to be over? And I remember like Rachel and I walking down 46th Street and like coming to this moment of like, is Natasha Lost like really needed? Is it working? Like, would it actually make her arc strong? And I was just like, oh, but I can't do that to Danae. Like, that feels so horrible. But I also was like, as a writer, coming around to like understanding how it was. But I was so nervous, like coming to you to like give you this news, and you were just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Let's do it. it was such an incredible moment of actor professionalism, and it just made me just like in such awe of your craft and your commitment to the overall show, and just like it was a beautiful moment.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know that you felt that way. I mean, I feel like it's a very Capricorn reaction. We were just talking about our sides. It's like, this must be done. But in all honesty, I don't know if you remember, but Natasha Lost made it so that I basically sang 5 songs in a row on stage. And when you cut that song, it meant that I had time to run off stage and pee. And so I was very happy about
I remember it as the pee break. That
I had time to like sprint and go to the bathroom,
yes.
which wouldn't have happened really in Act 1.
Yeah.
Or it just added another like 6 to 7 minutes. So I was relieved, even though I loved that song.
You were literally relieved.
Yes.
Yes.
Danae, do you have a favorite Comet memory?
Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. I mean, like, I don't know
we can take a few.
Yeah, I think the people that I got to meet with that show through you guys, and like I always say that Rachel like attracts magical unicorns. I think it's like your gift in life. And I've gotten to meet even more amazing people because of Great Comet. But I would say if I had to pick one, it would be, honestly, it was during the last show, which was such like a complex, devastating, like beautiful day. And I remember after the Balaga dance break, we all just like gave it, like we were ready to just dislocate shoulders and give it everything we had. And we all fell to the ground, and everyone on stage, all of us were like weeping and laughing, and our heart rates were about to explode. And the audience was like cheering so loud, I could feel the vibration of their sound in my body. And it was like, I've never felt that alive on stage, and I don't know if I ever will again. And I'm like, okay with that. Very Comet. It was like a blazing moment, you know?
Yes. Oh my God. I don't think I ever have cried as much as I did on that day, that like 48-hour period in terms of the grief.
So
and
alive. Yeah.
And actually performing that night, like just all the layers of what was going on, of telling the story of the comet, and then the story of the show, and the story of just us as humans. Like, I still remember every second of singing Pierre and Natasha with you that night.
Yes. And getting to touch your face, Dave, on that last show and have that line about gratitude. It was just so much because it changed my life, and you don't ever profoundly get to thank people in that way. And I felt like we got to have that moment together.
It was, that moment with you was amazing. Yeah. Very grateful.
Well, now I'm going to cry. Danae, I'm so glad that you were able to join us even in this strange flashback in time with you. It's really precious.
I will always join you guys.
Yeah. And now in the present moment, we're about to talk with another very special guest.
That's true.
Tell Josh I love him. I don't know if I spoiled it.
It's great. Yeah, Josh Groban. He's coming up.
Okay.
Bye, Danae. We love you.
Bye, people, so much.
Love
Rach, I just can't believe that you made the decision to get such an incredible haircut between those two videos. Because that moment was just, you look incredible.
Thanks, man. It's all going to Locks of Love. So,
you know. Great. Yeah. So next, So we already said who's happening next. It's true. Josh Groban is in the room, and he's gonna appear.
Hey, friends.
He's here.
Hi,
Josh.
Hey,
in
Dave,
the present
hey,
moment.
Rachel.
Hi, Polka
Oh
Dots.
my goodness. Hi. Well, actually, it's stars. I put on my star shirt for y'all today.
Oh my God!
My Ars Nova. I had to be Ars Nova chic tonight.
Yes.
In this undisclosed location in the middle of the Mediterranean.
We often called it downtown chic, even though Ars Nova is uptown. Inexplicably.
That's right. That's right. It has gone up, and you both look absolutely fabulous. So lovely to see your faces. Oh, it's my first smile in 9 months. Thank
So
you
happy
for
to see you,
providing
Josh.
it. Nice to see you both. Man, this is something.
This is all something. 2020 is something.
That is also something. Yes, it will go down in the history books as a thing that happened. Yes, and
Josh, I wanted to ask first, yeah, like how has your year been? Like, I feel like actually I've gotten a lot of inspiration from seeing how active it seems like you've been. Like, I've seen you've been doing all these live stream videos, and you
well,
released an album, which I loved, and it's
and
been very inspiring.
well, thanks, Dave, and vice versa. I love your piano melodies that you've been putting on Instagram. They are so beautiful, and like I love them so much, and I hope that they're, little nuggets of possible future melodies, and I don't know, but I always get to hear your work when it's in the grandest form, and just to hear you just improvise and be you at the purest form has been great for my soul. So to that point, I've been listening to a lot of music. I've been, trying to find positivity in something that I've, previously found to be kind of separating and isolating, which is like virtualness and social media and all the things that I kind of tried to resist for the longest time. I've tried to use it as a tool to keep in touch, to just cold call friends with a glass of wine. To, Scott Stangland and I have been having some great kind of long
Oh,
virtual video chats, and
amazing. For those who
yeah,
don't know, Scott was your standby
that's right.
on Broadway and played the role of Pierre
Played it
at
brilliantly.
ART. And yeah, oh,
Yeah, Scott's
incredible.
a beautiful human
Brother.
being, I know I was listening a little bit to Danae, but honestly, we always try to flex gratitude every day for the friends that we have and the music we've been able to make, and especially during times like this last year, we really hold on and appreciate the years that we've had prior, that we've been able to soak in those experiences. And so, for my own comfort, I've just had so much fun, just remembering the times when we all got to be sweaty and together, and dancing around audiences, and just, it seems like a lifetime ago, but I have maintained such incredible friendships with the Great Comet team. I mean, the music business in itself can be very isolating. Coming into Great Comet from a music standpoint, I was, a solo artist in a solo recording booth and a solo tour bus on a solo stage, and having the camaraderie and having the shared vulnerability of such a brilliant work, just it sticks with you. I don't know. It was my first time doing Broadway, first of many, I hope, but I think that feeling is shared by everybody that got to be a part of it. But I have been doing live streams, recording, dropped an album last week, trying to stay busy. My, my brain and my anxiety can go to one of two sides. I can decide to hibernate and just like pack it in, or I can just say, just put one foot in front of the other, and hopefully you'll get somewhere. And this year, I felt like I had to move.
Hmm.
Very inspiring. Yeah, it's kind of wild. I've been talking to like many friends about this, about how as a world we're going through this together, and like that instinct for hibernation is so shared by everyone that I know, and like
Yeah.
I do it too. And there'll be times when like a friend will text and I won't get back to them, for 3 weeks, and I'm like, oh god. But then I'm like, oh, but that's what all my friends are doing. Like everyone
Yeah.
does. Everyone goes into these places of
Yeah. When
hibernation.
that happens to me, I call it the ghosted quartet. It's really, I feel really, it's a very specific brand of, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I know the feeling. It's, and you can't juggle, even seemingly small things, when they pile up on your plate during times like this, your bandwidth runs out. And so I've just been telling people who, especially creative souls that are, we're all kind of sensitive and need to feel vital and need to feel like we're in it, to just not be hard on yourself. Just take it day by day, and just like find the little accomplishments. Don't be a hero. Just find little things that you can do. Write a new melody, or just take a walk, cook something with a new ingredient, and then call it a day. Call it a day, because this is weird. And then there's going to be this amazing renaissance, I'm sure of it, when all of this finally, when we're able to go and explode with that love again of what we miss, it will happen, and I can't wait to be there when it does. Dave,
Which
are you writing a lot? Rachel, are you plotting? Are you planning? Are you? What's next? What are we gonna do?
I've become a master of Keynote.
Keynote.
Actually, that's been
Yeah.
my just working on different, like actually building out visual decks for a whole bunch of projects that I've like long wanted to see and manifest, but haven't had the space to do
Wow.
so. So film, television, certainly some theater stuff. Lempicka is still churning.
Sure.
But yeah, I feel also the hibernate that you guys are
Yeah.
talking about too. It's
Yeah.
been actually,
It's
yeah,
been
apart
incredible
from
to
the horror.
see. Yeah, well, exactly. You
Yeah.
know, some lights at the end of the tunnel. I feel like we're in a really difficult slog right now with a whole lot of light at the end. It seems like, which is sometimes the hardest, darkest before the dawn. But I've been so inspired just seeing how the theater community has adapted to continue to breathe. Watching college productions doing Zoom plays and all of these other ways of doing it. The fact that we're even doing this is a 24-hour telethon
Yeah, for
going
Ars Nova.
a modest telethon. Ars Nova says, we can't do our
Yeah.
in person, so let's go a whole day.
Yeah.
I love it.
Modest. Ars Nova is known for modesty, gosh.
Jack, when you said that about so you asked about like I am like technically working on 3 different shows. One is a secret thing with Rachel, which we're both really excited about, but we can't talk about. And then another thing is a secret thing in London, which I'm also really excited about and can't talk about. And the third is like my weird like quarantine musical about depression and loneliness, trying out something new.
I will cattle call for that audition.
But what I wanted to say was what you said about like going to the park. Like I feel like some of my best days in this year have been like a day where I just like went to the park and like read a book and then like totally came home and like cooked a new meal and just being like, oh, like this is artistic too. Like I'm like living my best life by being out in nature and looking at the sky and smelling flowers and listening to birds, and like this is an artistic moment too, which feels very Tolstoyan as well. But
well,
back on Comet.
Sorry, yeah, but I actually had a segue. I had a segue from that.
He's gonna stick the landing.
I'm gonna stick the landing, but it does make me long for, as you were saying, those days of being in those sweaty rooms together. And I actually wanted to ask you about how you first came to Comet, because I know that you first came to the show just as an audience member, but I actually don't know how you even heard about the show.
I heard about the show from a publicist friend of mine who was my publicist for many years, an amazing publicist named Liz Rosenberg in New York, and she like me, she loves theater and she loves finding great off-Broadway and off-Broadway theater. And she just said, just don't ask questions. I'm not going to tell you anything about this. Come hungry, come thirsty, and come in with an open mind. And I said, yes, absolutely. This sounds great. And I remember, sitting at the table and just having vodka and watching, just knowing, first of all, the ambiance was just so incredible. I think Lauren Zachrin was dancing on our tables. Like it was just like, what is going on? This is incredible. And then the music, because oftentimes, you'll go to something and you'll be immersed in the experience, and then that'll kind of be the thing. And but Dave, hearing your score for the first time and hearing what you did with this story, and it excited me so greatly. I walked out of that tent, as so many people I know did, and Rachel, the way that you brought that space to life, because what an odd environment that was. And I'm sure, we were able to control people a little more when we were at the Imperial, but in a situation like that where people were really eating and drinking and, it's
less borscht, more control on Broadway.
Absolutely. But I walked out of there feeling like, and I went backstage, took a group photo with you, Rachel, and the cast, and
I have it.
And I have it framed too, and I just had it in my brain, tweeted about it, and just said, this is one of the most unique and exciting things I've ever experienced in theater. Listened to the cast recording, over and over again, and I saw a blurb on a blog, a blog blurb, saying, Great Comet is thinking of toying with the idea of possibly, reviving or maybe going to Broadway. And so, I reached out, and there was kind of a mutual reach out from what I discovered, which is that apparently I was on a short list of people that were being considered, and And it culminated in Dave and Rachel and you and I getting a drink, talking about the
Totally.
show, talking about the character, talking about how from that drink to if we were ever to find ourselves onto an opening night, how we could do it as organically and naturally and inventively as possible. And it just there are so many square pegs you want to pound into a round hole, these days. This one was round from the beginning. It's late, so it was great.
I'm with
And the rest is
you.
history.
Yeah, you were a perfect fit. Everything about from your humor to your shyness, which, you can seem so easy. So many don't necessarily know what a blushing flower you
I
are.
really
And it was perfect. And you were heartbreaking as
well.
Pierre.
Well, and it
I'm
was
so
such a blessing.
grateful for you having me. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I think it was such a blessing too, like just the kismet of how it was everyone's Broadway debut. You know how we were all none
Yeah.
of us knew what we were getting into, and like I really felt that from you, and I know you felt that from us, and I think we were all like had each other's back in such a beautiful way. I love
Well,
it.
I was desperately in need of being scared again, and
Mm.
to share that best possible fear with so many other people, was just such a recharge for me, and set my bar very, very high. I mean, to be spoiled by the entire growth and explosion of creativity that happened from that. I am very spoiled from that for sure.
I hope we all get to hold hands and jump again, both proverbially and literally in the new year.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. Exactly right. Yeah. But and Ars Nova has been at the forefront, as you know, of just taking those risks, getting scared right along with us, and providing a safety net for people that want to take risks, and to have done this with you, and then to have gotten to know the incredible team at Ars in the process, and to feel very much a part of their family going forward, is a beautiful thing. So I'm very, very excited to be here to support from my bedroom in Los Angeles.
Well, love and thank you, Josh, for joining us.
So good to see you, Josh.
And
You too, guys.
yeah.
And Danae, and I'm going to keep watching.
Yeah, we're going to bring this block home.
We're gonna bring it home. We have 7 minutes to bring it home.
Before we do so, actually, Dave, you recorded something quite special that I personally am very excited to see and hear again. And it is a song that you wrote.
Yes, I wrote it. Yeah, so we're gonna close out the block with a little bonus song. So after Great Comet, obviously Great Comet is just a little 70-page slice of War and Peace, and there's so much other good stuff in the book. And we kind of always joked about, well, not joked, but just kind of thought about it'd be so fun to check in on Natasha and Pierre 7 years later, and like after they're married. Spoilers, they do in fact get married. And so this is a song I wrote that is called Epilogue. And it is based on the first. War and Peace famously has 2 epilogues, so this is based on the first epilogue. The second epilogue is basically Tolstoy just making fun of Napoleon for like 100 pages. But I wrote this song for a gala at New York Theater Workshop earlier this year that was honoring Rachel, and I knew that Rachel loved this idea of this song, so I wrote the song for her. And now we have a little video of me singing that song.
Seven years later, my finger holds the imprint of your ring. Every line holds a memory of you and I, and the songs we used to sing. But now the sky is overcast and the streets are gray. The daytime moon hangs pale and cold. Sometimes it feels like all the stories have been told. But this song's not shall have epilogue after epilogue. It's a simple life on the face of it. Though you and I have both let ourselves go a bit thicker and older as the bitter winds got colder. But I saw the laughter of life in your eyes as you handed me a plate to be dried. With you, sometimes such simple things keep me warm inside. And this song's not over just yet. Stars and moons rise and set, then rise again. We shall have epilogue after epilogue. Running empty, frightened by the demons that still tempt me, struggling with the jokers juggling in my mind. But I know I'm not a bad man. I know because I see me in you. You reject the dark, you reflect the light. In you I see the good in me. In you I see the world in me. And this song's not over just yet. Stars and moons rise and set, then rise again. We shall have epilogue after epilogue.
Well, thanks for that, Dave. That's probably one of the greatest gifts ever.
You're one of the greatest people ever.
Okay. Before our puddles, that is it for the Comet Comes Home section of the Ars Nova Forever telethon. What were you going to say?
I thought I had the next line in the script.
No, I have one more line.
One more line. Say your line.
So on behalf of Mophead over there, Dave and myself, a huge thank you to all the artists and guests who have appeared on this block, and you who are watching, we know, and chatting, and most importantly, donating.
Yeah, and truly, I cannot overstate how essential and critical and vital and everything to me as an artist Ars Nova was. I mean, they came and saw a show that I did called Beowulf, like a weird rock opera thing of Beowulf back in like 2009, I think. And they just like approached me afterwards and like, hey, we like your music. Do you want to do a concert here? And I said, sure. I just come to New York. And then they said, hey, we liked your concert. Do you want to write a show for us? And I said, sure. And I had this ridiculous idea to write this, musical based on an opera, basically based on War and Peace. And I really presented it to them with the most like tentative, like fearful, like I'm just this little twerpy composer who just moved to New York. Why would they ever do this? And I just remember Jason Egan and Emily Schultz just being like, yes, we want to do this. Like there was just no question. And to like, as an artist, to have that kind of support and that kind of just like unconditional, like, yes, we want to make your vision come to life is astonishing. And I feel so, so blessed to have Ars Nova be a part of my life. So please give the money that you can.
Give the money. Give the
4,
money.
4, 3, 2, 1.
No, so you have to, come on, Dave, bring us home.
I was trying to think if there's a third. I can only think of the 3 I've already done.
Stick with the
4, 4, 3. But my favorite is 4,
people
4, 3,
love
2,
a
1.
reprise. No, come on.
You like the high one.
And those no one else chords come in. Give us Jean Valjean Javert? Which one?
Well,
Bring it
they both sing it. But the last one, so actually, what I'll do is it's Colin Wilkinson in the 10th anniversary concert at the end of Who Am I? He does this thing that is just astonishing.
David.
I'm being told to move on. 4, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fantastic.
Barbaric.
So text 44321 to make a gift, or email your pledge to telethon@arsnovasnyc.com. Keep watching, you who are with us. We can't thank you enough for joining us, because what's coming now, Dave?
The next 2-hour block is Showgasm. With
My favorite.
It's coming up next, and then later on we'll have Isaac Oliver, and then there's just stuff all for the next many hours. So please stay tuned and give what you can, and love Ars Nova. Love you all.
We'll be up.
Good show.